everyone, and welcome to my podcast. Yay! I'm still not sure what I'm gonna name this podcast. I was given a very lovely suggestion by our last guest, Gracie on cosplay, with nerdy distractions, and I kind of liked that.
Oh, that is good, actually.
It's just enough of a difference. Like, it can still be a part of the Reaper-verse, but it's just enough that it's, a little bit separate. And the reason why I go into that is because if you're here, you already know who I am. I'm your main host, Reaper Babe Gaming, Reaper Babe 7. You can call me whatever you want, just don't call me Babe. We've been through this. And today, I have my lovely friend, who apparently I'm on a first-name basis with at this point, Ethan. Hello.
Hello. Oh my god. First-name basis. Look at us. Look at us.
Look at us. Who would have thought? Not me.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah. We'll get into that, soon about how we met and stuff, because, it's actually really interesting.
I'm glad you remember, because I don't.
I very specifically remember exactly how it is, how it was.
But first, tell them who you are. What do you do? How do I generally know you? How can other people know you, kind of thing? What do you do, Ethan?
I was gonna yap, but time to yap about myself. I'm ArchVillainEthan on everything, except for Twitter, where it's an N at the end instead of an AN because there's a word limit. But I stream every weekend, basically doing whatever I want. It's not even that serious. I just play whatever game I feel like. Last week we did Dark Souls. The week before that we played new game Thank Goodness You're Here. And then the week before that, we were doing a game that the name escapes me, that was about dating eldritch monsters, everything.
It wasn't the Cthulhu one, was it? You did do that one.
It was.
There was only one. It's just Cthulhu. She's pinkish purple.
Yeah, Sucker for Love.
Yes.
That's what it was.
Yep.
Yeah. So a little bit of everything. That's sort of it, really. And we play games together sometimes as well. We collab with a group that we call the Girlies, where we get together, we play some horror games, we play some games together. It's really fun. It's great.
I love the fact that I think the collabs come up more often around spooky time, because we want to I was going to say, we want to play scary games, you guys want to play scary games, and for some reason you guys like hanging out with me, so you're like, Reaper, you wanna come play? And I'm like, not really, but I want to play with you guys, so here we are.
The ease in which we gathered together and started playing spooky games together was absolutely insane. Everybody just linked together, and I think back on when we played that ghost game recently, how we all collectively didn't have the best time, but also enjoyed each other's company more than the game itself. Which was so much fun.
Was it Phasmophobia?
It was Phasmophobia,
yeah,
exactly.
I tell people all the time, because they see me play with you guys, and they're either like, oh man, why don't you play with us? Or, I can't believe they play with you, because you don't do anything, Reaper. And they're right, I don't do anything. Which is why I'm so grateful to the girlies, because y'all are like, okay, whatever Reaper feels like doing is what they're gonna do. If they want to be bait for the next 6-hour stream, they are bait. I Outlast Trials as well. You save my butt so much. You're like, I'm going to mission mode, and I'm like, cool, do you want me to get the big scary dude off of you? Because I can run circles around this man. Literally, I am bait. I am the master.
You are excellent bait, though. Let's be honest. As we have, our Scooby gang, you are...
Shaggy.
What? Is it Daphne? I think Daphne gets caught all the time.
No, well, I feel like maybe she gets caught. I feel like I'm Shaggy, because I just run around and scream.
Actually, yeah, you're so right, actually. The chase.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm scared the entire time. People think that, I get over it. No, I am terrified the entire time we're playing. I am relieved when you guys finish the mission. Because I'm like, I'm one of those people that I don't request things for myself at restaurants, but if my friend is like, man, they got my order wrong, I'm like, excuse me, in the nicest way possible, because we are not rude to wait staff. They asked for no pickles on their burger.
Pickles. No pickles. Yeah.
That's me. Mine can be completely ruined. I'm not gonna say shit. My friends though. So when we're playing together, and I'm like, they need those people off them. They want to get to the end. I'm fucking getting them to the end.
I am more than happy to go down and sacrifice myself and my own dignity and all these things. But god damn it, my friends are gonna make it, one way or another. Can you tell that we watched anime as kids with the power of friendship that we keep loading up and using?
Well, that's actually a really nice segue, because I said it once, and I think you thought I was joking, but I think about this quite often, and I kind of hope it's not in a weird way. The way I describe you to people is I'm like, look, if Ethan and I were born in the same continent, the same country, there's no doubt in my mind that we would have been siblings.
I would believe it.
Like, you and I just vibe, and we just, the energies, I don't know, how do you feel?
I 100% agree, because every time we've played it, I was just thinking of this right now when we first started playing Our Last Trials again. The first time we played that, it was like the energy you described previously. I'm mission focused, ready to rock and roll. You're doing the, like, linking really nicely into this, like, team dynamic that we already have of, like, distraction and moving your way through. But also, like, the fact that we can just chat about, like, anything that comes to our brain and do the, like, improv yes and yes but all the time is, like, super random to just, like, come out of nowhere.
You mean the first 20 minutes of this call when we kept just, like, faffing about and being funny, and we're like, this isn't even part of the podcast?
Yeah. We were already ready, right? Like, we're just ready to rock and roll. That's what professionals do. Right?
Absolutely.
They're just ready to go straight away.
Also, you have a wonderful podcast voice, in my opinion. All my friends have amazing podcast voices.
I have been told a lot that I need to do radio because my lower general pitch. But, like, every time, it's mostly in the mornings, because when you wake up in the morning, your pitch is, like, lower because you're, like, more groggy. It's, like, way down and, like, really, really, and I've always wanted to give it a try, and just to, like, or, like, reading an audiobook.
You would be so good at that.
I would love to. I've heard it before, and I'd love to do it. Even just once, even just for fun. I wanted to do it on stream a long time ago, but I think there's a lot of laws around, like, reading books on stream, because that's content that you're taking and whatnot. But I don't know. There's like some really good books that I've been reading recently that, I don't know, I feel like I could give it a crack. And also there's these, like, now I'm getting a lot of, like, voice actory things pop up on my TikTok, where there's, like, I can't remember the name of the guy that I watch, but he does, like, a lot of, like, monologues from books.
Does he have a beard? Monologues from books. I see a guy you can do like duets with. Like, he says a part, and then he'll write on the screen, like, what your part is, and it's not, like, from plays or anything. He, like, makes them himself. And they're really interesting. They're really fun to do for me for practice, because I haven't done theater in such a long time. And, like, you can record it and just watch, the parts together. You don't have to post them or anything, because, fun fact, guys, you can record and do whatever the hell you want. You don't have to post it.
You can just keep it for yourself, or you can just do it as practice and then delete it afterwards. Like, every time, taking advantage of those moments where you can do it as, like, practice for, like, my D&D sessions that I run, like, every week. Whenever I drive anywhere, I'm practicing voices. Whenever I am in the shower, I'm practicing voices, or, like, speeches that I want my characters to have, or, like, because, you know, got to practice the villain monologue. You got to have a good one because it's got to be memorable before you fight them. It's got to feel good. So you take those little moments, and if people are prompting you on TikTok like that, I think that's fantastic. Like, opportunity to just grab with both hands and give it a try.
So you know how earlier I said we would be like siblings had, you know, the universe gone a different way? We absolutely would have, because when you said that, like, you know, practicing, you know, in the car and in the shower, stuff like that, I immediately went, you're not supposed to talk back to the voices in your head, just for the record.
I talk to the voices all the time. They give me both the best advice and crippling at the same time. They are very not nice at the same time. But if you talk back to them, they're a little bit quieter sometimes, especially if you yell at them.
No, mine just gets an attitude.
An attitude? Like how?
It's just like, what the fuck do you mean? They're just me. When someone talks down to me or is mean to me, I'm like, you need to turn around, take a deep breath, and then look at me again and see who the fuck you think you're talking to. And so then when I try to stand up for myself in my brain, the voices go, okay, you need to go look in the mirror, see who you are, and then come back to us and realize that, like, you hold no power here. And then I'm like, dang it, they're right.
Ooh, that's an interesting inner critic that I've never heard of before.
I'm so mean to myself. The voices are so mean to me.
I understand that. Yeah, a lot of people, especially in like content creation spaces, I think are very self-critical because there's so many things that like are there to keep track of or to like generate like numbers everywhere. Yes. How many people are following you? How many people are watching you right now? How many people liked your video? Like it's so easy to slip into all those thoughts of like, my video only got 3 likes, whereas my other one got 12. You know, like, what am I doing? I need to change back to that thing. And it's so... Go on.
No, and then sometimes the voices get so bad that they're like, so you see how that person got, you know, 15 likes on something that, you know, is like... on something that's very similar to yours and you only got like 2 kind of thing, or like look at how many subscribers they have to their 10 videos and you've posted 1,000 and you don't even have like 200 kind of thing. It's
you've got to be so careful because there's so many like negative thoughts, not just about yourself but like other people.
Yes.
You can get as a result. There's like a competitiveness that that's really hard to shake. Like I still get that sometimes where I'm like, oh my god, this person overtook me, or like you know, they do this and it's different, they get more people following, like whatever. And I've been streaming for like I think 3 years and like on and off, not very consistent with it, but it's always that battle that I have to remind myself of, like, well, there's different factors here. Maybe they're just finding the right people, maybe the timing's different, maybe they do it more, maybe there's all these things. But the thing that I always come back to is, you know what? I'm actually fine with my corner of the internet. I'm actually fine with having this. And I have to keep reminding myself of that, because those thoughts they're always there, right? Like, when you do, you would know this as well, like YouTube constantly sends you stuff and is like, your recent video didn't do as well as your usual videos, or like it's really bad, actually, the way that it works.
The amount of red arrows downwards that I see, and I'm just like...
It's so bad. That's why, like, you know, I've tried my best to turn off all that sort of stuff, because it's really easy to do. And even with it all turned off, it still happens, you know? Like, people still... you still have those days where it's like half the people that would usually watch you, or like, you know, your timing's off, or maybe you're just not feeling it that day, and that can sort of compound on itself.
When I think my biggest thing is like on Twitch, like YouTube I'm kind of whatever with, because like a lot of those are VODs, and like people don't want to watch 3-4 hour VODs. Like, people who do that truly want to see you kind of succeed, and they're like big fans kind of thing, right? And to edit videos takes a lot of work. You know, you helped edit some of my League with Friends there for a while.
Yeah.
And so I I'm not as focused on YouTube anymore. To see the subscriber count go up is, I'm always excited and very happy and very grateful to the people who subscribe to me because they found something that they like, hopefully. But my thing is Twitch is that when I start stream, and I hope anybody, especially Patreon people, a lot of you guys are in my streams. Do not take this that I am ungrateful for you because we all have lives. I can't be at every single one of my friends' streams. I'm mods for some people, and I don't even go to their streams anymore because I just don't have the time. This is not me being ungrateful. But I have a 5-minute going live screen, and if nobody chats within that time and I jump on for my 30-minute like just chatting like section at the beginning, I immediately just get like kind of winded of like disheartened. Thank you.
Yeah.
And we talk about content creation, listeners, because that's actually how Ethan and I met, and apparently Ethan remembers the story a lot.
I remember, yes.
I don't remember at all, so I'm gonna let him tell this story. Again, I feel like I've known this man honestly probably my entire adult life. You didn't want to know me as a kid, so I'm doing you a favor.
I'm the same. Like I was a cringe teen. Like let's not even go there.
I say this before, and I was thinking I was such a pick me. I didn't realize, but in hindsight, I was such a pick me kid, and I was like, God, But anyway, please tell them this story. I would love to rehear it, see it from your side.
It was so interesting because you were playing, like, first of all, you were playing Dragon Age Origins, which is such a important game for me. That is the first game that ever made me cry, because it was so in depth with the storytelling, and you know, it introduced me to a band that I really love as well as through it as well, and like characters that I love and a series that I quite enjoyed. If I remember correctly, I believe you were in between battles in a cavern-like area. I don't know if it was like the Deep Road or like a castle that had like a section that looked like it was all rocky in between a battle where we raided into you very early into my... God, how long ago was it? Like a year and a bit? A year and like... I want to say a bit longer. How long have we been
friends?
I don't know exactly how long, because it feels like a really long time.
Because I feel like if that was early in your streaming career, I think I've been streaming for a year longer than you, because Origins was after I did my SWOTOR bit. I played SWOTOR and League of Legends live religiously for like a year.
Damn.
So if you were coming in at Origins, then... now I'm kind of getting a timeline together.
Yeah, it was Origins, because I was like, oh man, this person's playing Dragon Age Origins. I love Dragon Age Origins. And that was my entire thought process of rating people at that time in doing streaming. And I still kind of love it. It's just very nice and easy to be like, oh, a game I like, cool.
Perfect.
Yeah, and I came on in, and the first thing that I said was like, hey, I love Dragon Age Origins. Who are you romancing? The light in your eyes that I saw illuminate out as you went, I get to talk about my favorites now, was just like the moment that I was like, hell yeah, this person is passionate about these things that I really love. Because I've been playing games like my entire life, and I adore... especially Dragon Age Origins. That's like that's such an important game in my like development as a person, because you know I still had that phase where I was like, oh, you're a man, you don't cry at media or anything like that. But through that game, I developed a lot of connections more with my emotions and stuff. So it has a very special place to me. And
some of the choices you make in that game, you have to cry. If you don't cry, you're going to implode on yourself. Like, or you just don't have, I'm going to be honest, you don't have emotions to begin with, because there's no, even the decisions I made, I was like, if you just gave me one more different option, I would have chosen that one.
They shake you to your core, some of them, to be honest. Like, especially at the end of the game. The end of the game is the culmination of this big campaign that you've made your way through. And when I asked you that, I'm trying to remember who you said. I think I want to say Zevran. Is that the name, Zevran?
Yeah, that was the elf. I think I was kind of into him, but I ended up...
But not into him.
Yeah, I think I had just gotten him or something, and I was like, oh, okay, he's kind of cute. We like this, because I like me some elf. I like me some elf characters, like... But I ended up, Alistair got my heart in the end.
Oh, what a sweetie.
He's
what
such
an absolute
a sweet
sweetie.
boy.
And you talk. I think who is it? I think it's Win. You talked to about his socks. How his socks keep getting. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
yeah. There's so many good moments of like really genuine dialogue between characters in that game that makes it so memorable. Immediately after I had asked you that, I said, "Are you a big BioWare fan?"
And then I
again, the light in your eyes became like in the body. I think at this point you had like a whiteboard that was behind you, and it was a slightly different room, and you were like, yes, I love BioWare games. Have you played Mass Effect? I'm like, yeah, I played every single Mass Effect game. Who did you romance in Mass Effect? Reaper gets up and says, I've got to show you something, and goes into the other room for about a minute and pulls up a full-sized Garrus body pillow, and I am just excitedly typing in the chat as I get shown this as like our first interaction.
Now,
it was amazing.
Now, the funniest part about this was I hadn't actually played Mass Effect.
Really?
I played Mass Effect after I played Origins. So I swear I remember my dad at least playing Mass Effect 1, or at least playing a part of it. And I asked my dad, and he's like, I've never played Mass Effect. I don't even know what that game is, Reaper. And I'm like, I swear to God, because I don't know how I would know about Garrus Vakarian. Because I knew about Garrus Vakarian, but I knew nothing about Mass Effect. I didn't know anything about Commander Shepard, and now I love them. I didn't know anything about the other characters. I just knew there's this blue alien, and he is a bird. It is a bird, okay? Anyone who comes at me and is like, well, Garrus is actually no, it's bird. Turians are based on birds.
Look at those legs. Like, come on.
But at that time, I didn't even know he was a Turian. I was just like, there's this guy named Garrus, right? And then anyone I said that to were like, oh yeah, Garrus Vakarian from Mass Effect. I'm like, this one? And I would show them a picture and like, yeah, it's Garrus Vakarian from Mass Effect. I'm like, I wouldn't know. I have not played the game. I played Mass Effect for the first time after Origins. So the fact that I had that body pillow just goes to show that I can love characters without knowing shit about them.
I love that for you, that you were already smitten by Garrus Vakarian before you even played the games, because it did not change. Like after you played that game, it was canon from the beginning. You clearly have taste, and you understand your taste, and you're like, this is what I like, this is my flavor. Avian alien man who handles guns well, and
Yep.
That's it. That's all I want. So obviously, boys aren't good enough, and humans aren't good enough. It's got to be this.
And I was right.
You were right.
At that time, I was right. I am still right.
As of this day.
And I'll be honest, I think my current boyfriend loves me more for that. I don't know if we've talked about that. He'll tell you, like, the love of his life is Tali. And do you know? Oh. Yeah, you know. And if you don't romance Tali and you don't romance Garrus throughout the trilogy, they'll romance each other.
They do, yes. Oh no, my mandible was stuck in her visor, and I asked,
sure.
and yeah, and yes, they could have been infected. So I asked Garrus to investigate very, very closely. Oh yeah,
Jokes on
I know
that
exactly
game.
what it was like.
Jokes on that game, though. I will never not romance Garrus. You guys are gonna pry that romance from my cold, dead hands.
See, this is also why we understand each other, because my first response when you asked me when we first met who I romanced, I said Tali, because Tali is adorable.
She's so cute.
she is so sweet and smart, and like for someone who's so shy, she's also like really talented hacker and can handle a gun quite well.
It's the quiet, shy ones you got to worry about. That's why I love her.
Oh my god, yes, the quiet, shy ones are always. Oof.
Okay, you and my boyfriend get along really well, actually. I'm going to introduce you to.
Yeah, you should, because clearly we have great taste in alien creatures that we like to bang. You know, that's clearly an important thing.
I will also say this. I feel like... Okay, this is going to be very, very subjective. I'm going to say this first and foremost.
Intrigued.
A lot of men who romance Tali are just green flags for me.
Because otherwise they would go for...
Ashley, and I like all the romances except for Trashly. I gave her real name that one time just so Ethan knew who I was talking about. I will not refer to her with her real name again. But there's nothing wrong. Again, I'm like, if you're gonna go for Trashly, then at least go for Miranda. That's my personal opinion. But there's just something. And people are gonna be like, oh well, you can see Tali's, the legs, the thighs do it for it. I'm like, that's excellent. You can't see anything on that woman. She is covered from head to toe. And every person that I talk to that romances her, especially men, they mention the thighs last. They mention her figure last. They're just like, she's so sweet and cute and adorable. And I know some people might see that as a negative of oh, they want someone who's, impressionable, I guess, because Tali can be in the beginning. But then no. These are people who have played through 2 and 3 and romanced her. Tali changes a lot.
Oh, yeah. So much self-confidence builds through that.
Exactly. So, yeah, in game 1, if you fall for her, it's oh, you just like impressionable women. It's you keep up. Because once she gets to fight Geth, it's a whole other game. That's a whole other woman fighting for herself. So to me, men who romance Tali Voss Normandy, fucking green flags. Absolutely.
It's exactly, because how they talk about it, it's as you said, it's personality first. They don't talk about the physical appearance whatsoever, because she's behind a gas mask. Her whole suit is insulated. She's got 3 fingers, and you're like, yeah, but she's really nice to talk to.
Yes.
And to hang out with, to spend time with as a character. And she gets wasted in the party in Mass Effect 3, and it's really, really nice. It's really funny.
She's down for a threesome, and I love that about her.
She is? I didn't know this.
Oh my god! So I've only seen it with FemShep because Garrus is straight, I believe. I believe he's straight. You can't romance him, Broshep. And even though you cannot romance Tali, FemShep, when she's really drunk, you can talk to her. And I was romancing Garrus 3rd game. I'm deep into this. I just slept with Garrus. That's what you do. You sleep with him, kind of thing. And she's in the shower and she's going, Garrus? But we can't. Shepard would. Well, maybe if they join, maybe the three of us. She says something very. It's Tali Voss Normandy.
Oh,
son of a bitch, I'm in. The bisexual in me is I'm in.
Someone has been downloading things off of the human internet too much.
The extranet.
But also, it's alien culture. They can... That's fine. I'm totally okay with that, because also Garrus... damn. I think we could all agree. Archangel Garrus is just... when I saw him in Mass Effect 2, I was I'm too young to understand the feelings I'm having right now, but there's something here that will come out in about 10 years' time.
They knew. They got so much backlash for not letting us romance Garrus in 1 that they were like, okay, we'll give it to you, and we'll give you your opening in the sexiest way possible. Now, have you ever done the full Garrus romance?
I have not. No.
Okay. I haven't done the full Tali romance. We get our full romances get cut. Okay? Everyone else gets a strip scene. Like,
Yep.
everyone else gets into a bed. I believe Tali jumps Brosha.
Yeah, she does. Yeah,
She-
she jumps. She wraps her legs around your waist and jumps on as she jumps on you. Yeah,
And then you fall, right? And it, like, fades to black.
exactly.
Okay. Garrus and Femshep, for their first night, you know what we get? Forehead touches.
That
and
is
fade.
adorable.
But then it's fade to black.
But you know what happens. Also,
We
it's
know
such
what-
an intimate thing to do.
It is, and because Garrus is so nervous, and I love that. I wouldn't give anything up, because Mass Effect 1, where you can't romance him, he's finding himself. Mass Effect 2, he's found himself, and he might not be looking for someone to love, but when you show him that you truly want him, he starts looking for more. You know what I mean? He starts thinking, okay, I love myself. I can love someone else. And then 3, this man is full on confident. That romance is locked in. He is willing to die for you. But
So devoted.
So devoted. And I love that, man. I wouldn't change the romance in any way, shape, or form. But I've had the conversation with many, many Tali romancers that don't realize that even you guys get more of a romance scene than we do.
Yeah, and not only that.
Yeah,
sorry,
go on. No, go on.
I was gonna say, the peak moment for me is not those scenes. It is the picture that you get at the end of her without her mask, and it is such an impactful moment where you're like, wow, like she could have looked like anything and I still would have loved her, but she trusts us enough to not hide herself from you. It's almost like she's peeled back that final layer of her like shyness and her like defensiveness about everything, because she has a bit hesitant at first.
Yeah.
And fully trusts you in that moment. It's that gesture for me rather than those scenes that is just peak romance to me.
Yeah, Tali people. I feel like Dragon Age as well, but I feel like the BioWare romances can tell you a lot about what you feel you need in IRL romance, because it does. Like, when you romance Tali, it's a lot of trust. In my opinion, if you romance Liara, it's being able to love someone through change, because like when people get into relationships, young or old, the person that you meet and that you start dating is not going to be the same person in a year, 5 years,
Absolutely.
10 years. And that's the thing with Liara. She goes through so many changes, right? And it's like, can you still love her through the good and the bad and through all these changes as she's finding herself? Like, are you kind of strong enough to give her that? Whether you agree with her, like, she does things that I don't agree with. And like, I would tell her, like, as, you know, that partner romancing her. But it still is a thing of like, can you love your partner when they're still trying to find themselves? Mine with Garrus is like, I need someone to have my back but also challenge me, and know that me challenging them is my love for them, because I know they can be better. So when he wants to kill that one guy, and I'm like, I'm not moving, you messed up, and my boyfriend is really angry back there, Garrus put the gun down, it's because I want him to be better, even if he's mad at me, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a great moment as well of like, it's not going to make you feel any better. It's not going to give you the closure you think it's going to. I think Liara is a great example, because shy scientists, well, not shy, I guess like passionate scientists who can't really see other people's emotions just yet, as more sort of entwined with her own work.
Yeah.
To shadow broker. It's a kind of a big like change in her character, and if you can see through all of that and be like, yeah, you've done some bad stuff, but I see that you're trying to do it for the right reasons, and you always have been, then there's some really nice moments that can happen with her as well.
We have to remember, because I feel like a lot of people who might listen to this as soon as it's released way in the future, who knows, might like compare it to Baldur's Gate 3. Because I feel
Yes.
Baldur's Gate 3 with the romances and the decisions, like, they went farther because they knew they could. Because like, in my opinion, and again, people can debate this, my opinion, Dragon Age and Mass Effect really set a tone on your decisions matter. And yeah, we got a lot of freedom. We got a lot of freedom with the romances. They're gonna love you no matter what kind of thing, right? Whether you stop Garrus from attacking the one guy or whether you let him, he's going to have his own feelings about it. But in the end, he's still going to love you because, you know, you supported him in one way or another. So, kind of, in my opinion, those games walked so that Baldur's Gate 3 could run when it came to the romances. And it's like, no. They might be angry with you for the first 3 decisions that you've made, but when you actually make the decision in the route that you've been making, they're going to appreciate you on that 4th time. I don't know, like, it's Astarion for me. It's like, he wants you to be mean and all this stuff, but then as soon as I'm nice to the owlbear, he's like, oh, I approve of that.
Like, you're 1,000% correct, because I was literally about to lead into Baldur's Gate 3 as well, because not only that, but, like, speaking of, like, specifically on romances, you can romance anyone of any species or class or orientation, like preference. Every character can be available for you. It's your sort of choice in, like, their personality and their the way that they express themselves. Sure, physicality comes into that. We all love muscle mummy Karlach because, goddamn, what a dreamboat, right?
Who doesn't want to be thrown over their shoulder, honestly?
Oh, Shadowheart was so right. Be carried to safety. Oh, what a great moment. And, like, now that you can do that with any of them, they're completely an option for you. And I think, going back into those series as well, I think that is, while I understand what they did with Dragon Age Inquisition, where they said specific characters can only be romanced because of their preferences, I'm like, I get it. However, I would love the option to be there, so that if I don't pursue that, they pursue their own things as well. But if I pursue that, I have the option as a choice. And then things can just develop naturally, and it sort of happens in a different way. And I really want to talk about so many, like, story games that I think do this poorly as well.
Go on. I might not know them, but please, because I was actually going to ask you about that, because I feel the same way. I have not played Inquisition at all. I'm just starting my Dragon Age 2 run, right?
Oh.
Yeah. But I do know about Cassandra. I saw Cassandra, and I was like, I love her. I want to romance her.
So devoted.
She's straight.
Yeah.
And for me, I like playing the femme, because we don't really get a lot of non-binary versions. I can make a character look non-binary, but you don't really get that third option, so I play more on the femme side. Because for me, I'd rather play as myself. I'd rather see myself in the main character. And I'm just going to say, and it's going to sound really mean, I don't care. I don't care what the character's, like, orientation is.
I hate to tell you this, Reaper, but they are inherently ones and zeros, and I think they won't take it personally.
But that's the thing, is that if I'm playing, like, I know IRL, I'm attracted to both genders. A lot of people. I'm attracted to, you know, just cool people. Honestly,
I am attracted.
I'm attracted. And people can turn me down, and that's fine. I paid $60 for a game that, in the last game, I could literally romance everyone, no matter what my gender was, except for Varric. What the fuck do you mean I cannot romance Varric in Dragon Age 2? I'm very upset with this. I'm very fucking upset. I have no idea.
I think Varric's just kissing his crossbow and, like, doing some things that we should talk about to that thing in his spare time.
Someone in my chat was like, ace people are valid, and I'm like, you know what? That's a headcanon I will accept.
Actually, yeah, I can see that.
Because he calls my hawk like a beautiful woman in one of the cutscenes, kind of thing. Like I'm always willing to tell about myself to beautiful women, and I'm like, a lot of my ace friends just flirt, and I'm like, I can see it. That's a headcanon for me now. Like it's the one way I can low key accept the fact that I can't romance Merrick.
I like that. I think actually, just not only on like obviously a representation side, but also it just fits the character and how they've represented them in Dragon Age 2 and further games beyond. Because I've never, when you finish Dragon Age 2, you'll be like, yeah, I can see why they're sort of not with anyone. It's not that they have like a Lone Ranger vibe. It's just that they don't quite, you just don't see them with any of the characters that you meet. Right? You just be like, yeah, that makes sense. I understand it. And once you get to know a bit more of their backstory, you're like, okay, yeah, sure. It makes sense. It's appropriate for the character.
I will say, going back to the Baldur's Gate 3 thing, having everyone, someone put it really well, player sexual.
Yeah,
player
that's a
sexual.
good term.
I love that term because I don't feel like it excludes anyone. Excuse me. Because you can play to your sexual orientation if you want, or if you're like, no, I don't know why, but I want to, romance the bear man. Like, no one's gonna question you, right? Like, it's your game. You paid them money.
Yeah, you can do this thing called role play, where you play as another character, and experience some things you might not be able to experience. Whenever I play a video game, I do that. I generally play like a female character who I sort of create as someone, and in my current playthrough that I'm playing through with Scarlet is that I am a mean drow woman who has got tattoos all over her body, who is a ranger, who's like really into spiders, and like and sort of plays that mean but like nice to like mean with a soft heart sort of thing, like is mean to people who are generally not nice, and is kind to animals or people who care for animals around her. Like, you take on that aspect. You play a character, you take on a role.
You just made like a meaner version of my main. I hope you know that.
We're siblings, of course. Like,
that makes so much sense. It's come back full circle. It's okay. Wait, do you tiny tangent? Do you watch Critical Role or listen to Critical Role?
See, I really wanted to get into Critical Role. I have this thing about me as a person that whenever something is popular or people talk about it a lot, I say, my brain goes, no, that is bad. You cannot interact with that thing, and I need to default dislike it. Now, I obviously got over that pretty quickly, and I like the Critical Role people because they're amazing. But I had one friend in university who just would not stop talking about Critical Role all the time, and I just had this like rejection sense that just, maybe it was because I didn't particularly like the person and I associated with that, but ever since then I've been like, I need to sit down and watch it, but I haven't.
That's fair. If it's any consolation, I only got like 100 episodes of the podcast or the YouTube into season 1, or it wasn't that many. I didn't even get to the big, like, the start of the big boss fight. Let me make sure I've got one of the voice actors correct, because I now have an idea for, oh, sorry. I need to make sure I get this, there we go.
Yeah, no, for sure.
If we're ever in a campaign together or a one-shot, Laura Bailey and...
Yes, love Laura Bailey.
Liam O'Brien?
Oh, yes, in everything.
Yes, he's the book in Nier, and I didn't realize. No, Nier, not Nier.
Yeah.
Yo, is it Nier or?
In Nier, yeah.
Yeah. I heard
Nier Replicant and the original Nier, yeah.
Yes. I didn't realize. I heard his voice on one of my other friends' streams, and I was like, that's Liam O'Brien. They have the same birthday IRL.
Wait, really?
They do. They have the same birthday. Laura Bailey and Liam O'Brien have the same birthday. So, for the first campaign, Critical Role started as just voice actors just wanting to play D&D. They just started off as friends, and they went to a house and they just did D&D. And then they were like, we're actors. Why don't we just, like, record it or, like, stream it, whatever. Like, I don't know how exactly they did that at that time. But they were just doing it for fun at first. And so the characters that they have are twin half-elves, Vexalia, and Vaxildon. And so I was like, when you were talking about your character and, oh, well, we're just siblings in another life. So, I'm like, we could just totally do that. We just play sibling D&D characters like they did. And
it's funny you say that, because that's something I've always wanted to try at a table. I've always wanted to try, like, siblings or, like some sort of relationship that, like, is familial and makes an interesting dynamic in the party, because no one ever does that. They're always strangers who meet at a tavern, or they're people who've been through adventures before, but they're not, like, they don't have an interesting dynamic. Because I feel like you could make, like, working on a backstory with someone and interweaving that together to have, like, bad things that happened, or resentments that your characters might have, or nice moments that you had as children, like, really enrich the experience and allow you to both draw on things, as well as, like, have sibling arguments, or, like, have reconciliation afterwards, and have these things that we've all experienced, and, like, relatable moments in a fantasy setting. It's one of those things that I've been desperate to try. So clearly we have to make this happen.
One I'm in. Who's the DM? Who do we need to get in on this? Because I absolutely want to play the sibling character to yours. Because my thing is not only the sibling dynamic against each other or, like, with each other, but it's what happens when the siblings are on the same page because of the things they've gone through, but the rest of the party are not because of their backstories. And what does that do? And of course we're not saying be at odds with your party in D&D, like, you're all creating a story together kind of thing. But you can make tension based on your backstories and the experiences of your characters. And it's also really interesting because, if we do this, when we do this, when yeah, you can't see me, but I'm looking you dead in the eyes when.
I could feel
it. I'm gonna romance someone. So just to have your like little snickerings, like, in my ear, or, like, I don't approve kind of shit. I'm like, that could be so good.
Such an interesting dynamic, right? Of the folded arms and, like, I don't approve of what you're doing here. This person almost got us killed 2 dungeons back when they did this thing. I don't think this is the best idea. And you have such interesting moments, as well as when that character then talks to the other character alone and is like, so my sister, huh? Like, it's like, yes! Or, like, my brother, or, like, my twin, something that's, like, it creates a really interesting dynamics and moments, as well as, like, someone saying, you almost got us all killed, and walks off from the party a bit angry, and the siblings, like, they're always like this. Give them, like, 10 minutes, they'll be back.
Give them 10 minutes and I'll go after him, if not. Because when you do a player sibling, you can't dictate how the other person plays your sibling. Where if you're doing it backstory, you can kind of tell the DM, like, oh, this is how they would, react to such situations in the past, and you can kind of guide your story in a sense. But when you're playing it character or player on player, it's like, God, I thought Ethan's character would go this way, but he went this way, and now I have to completely rethink my relationship with my brother because I thought he would be this way, or sister, my sibling, because I thought he would go this way, but they went this way instead. And it's learning moments for you that you can also play off of.
And see, this leads so naturally into a you've changed.
Yes,
which is right, like, which is delicious. You're different you're not my brother anymore, or you're not my sister anymore. Who are you? What has happened to you? You killed that man, stuff like that. Oh, delicious.
And then there's a big fight for a few sessions, and then you get into this big old fight, and you're 2 death rolls in, you're just like, not my sibling, no! And then the hero say, oh God, Ethan.
The dramatic tension, I'm pushing my fingers together rapidly with excitement.
Oh, we
let
gotta
me
make
play
this
with my
happen.
dolls. Let me
Let me
like
have
create
my
these
dice.
scenarios. Yeah, where's my dice? They're always nearby.
Roll. We need this. Okay, start messaging some other DMs. We got to get in, because I actually don't think I've played at a table with you. I think you've always been my DM.
That's right. I've run 2 games for you, but we've never been on the same table. Well, technically we're at the same table, but like we haven't been players together. Yes, that's
Yeah.
right.
What was it? The shoe one?
The shoe.
Oh,
I'm so glad that you
So
called
it's
the shoe one.
The shoe one. The shoe one in Mass Effect. You did the. I'm sorry. That was so
No,
great.
I think that's fantastic. I was so happy at that sort of like slow, the tyranny of Sneebly.
I didn't know that it was like sneeze something. I just couldn't remember.
No, I think it's way better that it lives rent-free in your head as the shoe thing, because it was a shoe. I ran a one-shot for Reaper and a couple of my tabletop friends where it was... The final boss was a shoe that had become a lich, and they had to fight a levitating shoe that cast spells. And I believe I killed your character. Well, I didn't kill your character. The shoe cast power word kill on your character after a big shoe dragon had attacked.
Now you remember how we met. I want you to know I verbatim remember how that death went. Yep. Now, I am very lucky. The DMs I play with, they are very, very talented, and they will play, death runs. They'll really, as long as the table is okay with it. I have been with so many amazing DMs that they are willing to go as far into fun or as far into serious as we would like. Ethan knows I am not really crazy about character deaths. I love my characters so much. I put so much into them, and D&D fans are going to be very torn on that. Like, no, you should always be able to, be killed. Like, that's the whole point. Or, I play D&D to be funny little characters, usually with very traumatic ass backstories, and to romance my friends' characters. That is what I play D&D for.
Oh, I have to get you and Scarlett at a table together, because that's how Scarlett plays.
We have never... I don't think we've been at a table together, and we need to, because I'll romance the shit out of her.
I'm sure you would, and I'm sure they would love that, because I just finished running a game for them as well. But the way you describe it is like a character drama, right? You like your character drama.
I like... Yeah. I'm not crazy about dungeon crawlers. Oh, I'm sorry, side note. Scarlett is they, them?
She, her, from when I checked.
Oh, okay, sorry, okay. I didn't want to get...
I might stand corrected on that.
Okay, I just want to... Yeah, we always check pronouns with the friends, of course.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't think I've been at a table with her. But Ethan, yeah, I play D&D for characterization. I play D&D for characterization for relationships, not just romantic. Now, how does this lead into the tyranny of the shoe? Okay? One. I'll admit, I don't think I knew anyone in this party except for you.
That's right.
And everyone was so kind to me. And I was still really new in the D&D space, even with my personal private campaign with my friends. I was not a very good D&D player at that time. I wasn't very... knowledgeable and how to let other people have their moments, which kind of comes from me being in theater, and I like to be the center of attention. I'm not going to lie. But in hindsight, I realized I was probably not the best person at the table to play with at moments. I think about that a lot. Those are thoughts that keep me up at night. But the story goes on, and we get into this big fight with this shoe lich. And I've been attacked a few times. Ethan is not being mean to anyone. He is, I don't know if he's rolling dice or if he's just like, okay, we're going in a counterclockwise motion on this screen. I don't know. I'm not getting hit every time, but I've gotten hit a couple of times. And Ethan, because we're streaming this, in the straightest face, looks at the camera and says, Reaper, how much health do you have?
Which you never want to hear from a DM ever.
I didn't know about power word kill. I was still so new. I didn't know. And I was like, I'm at 80 something. Like, I'm still good. Like, hey, like, as I thought Ethan was being nice, like, hey, how much do you have so I'm not, like, gunning for one person if you're super weak or whatever. Because Ethan's a super nice dude. Or so I thought. And I was like,
And then...
and so what had happened was... I was like, I'm at 80-something. I knew I was in the 80s. I was like, I'm fine. You could hit me like 2-3 more times as long as you don't get crits at least 2 times. And he was like, okay. They cast Power Word Kill. And everyone at the table gasps. And I'm like, what? And Ethan's just like, you're dead. I'm like, what? He's like, your character. You're dead. You can no longer move. No save. No nothing.
You are dead.
You're dead. And I'm just like, I tried to be funny, again, very new to the group streaming thing, and I left, quote unquote, left the table, didn't even leave the screen, I don't think, or if I did, I just turned right back around. But I very distinctly remember that. But I will give credit to you. You made sure that we had a diamond on hand. You were like, no one's actually going to die this campaign, but you did have that. It was good. In hindsight, I was like, no, that was amazing. Now that I know what I know about D&D, I was like, oh, that story, I kind of wish I would have stayed dead. But then I wouldn't have been able to stomp on the shoe, which is what me and like 2 other characters did. Someone else went around and was like checking and looting things, and 3 of us were like casting fireball on this already dead shoe and stomping on it.
See, I pushed so hard at the start of our session 0 when we discussed everything. I was like, hey, clerics, have 2 diamonds for free.
Yes.
Make sure one of you has Revivify, because I was going to use Power Word Kill. I was going to demonstrate in a way how powerful this creature is that you are going up against. That it can just click its fingers, say a powerful magical word, and someone dies.
You mean the leather dragon in the middle wasn't strong enough for you?
So it was a big dragon that had been filled with gas, and like parts of shoes had been stitched together to create this big like horrific shoe monstrosity. And I gave it the stats of like a adult red dragon, because I think this was like, what level were we, like 14 or something like that?
I think we're like 16. I think it's a 16.
Yeah, it was pretty high. Yeah,
that's why I had so much health as a ranger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it breathed fire on everyone constantly. It started breathe fire first, and that's when the Power Word Kill came on. And then immediately after, our cleric was like, Revivify, you're back up. Keep going. Keep fighting.
Yeah. And then I think the Power Word Kill is what made us realize, no, we take out the shoe. It was something.
Yes.
Something in that moment made us realize it's not the dragon, it's not anything else, because there were other enemies in the vicinity. Something in that moment made us realize, aim for the shoe, because that's why the cleric got me up. Because I vaguely remember her being like, shoot for the shoe, because ranger.
Yeah.
And you were like, it's gonna be a higher like roll kind of thing, and like I missed so many times, but like I vaguely remember that being a point. It was so good.
Sorry, go on.
No, you go.
Just gonna say it was a lich commanding all the undead shoes around him. Like, it was the commander of everything that was going on, and I wanted to demonstrate that it was that figure. And because of that, exactly what you've described is why I did that, because you got such emotional catharsis from defeating that thing. Like, how good did that feel when you beat it?
We went and stomped on it. We were so relieved but angry.
It felt great.
It was a great group bonding moment. I'll be honest. I felt like we all bonded the most at the end.
That's exactly why you do it. These memorable moments where these dramatic things happen. And, you know, consequences, it raised the stakes higher than perhaps before, and allowed you to... And then you did some serious damage to that shoe as well. And it had to cast like a big shield around itself to protect itself. It was so much fun.
Everyone was so amazing. I love being at your table. I love you being my DM, but I swear to God, I can't be in your one-shots anymore because it's not enough. Because I was going to ask you, I was like, how does it feel to know that a campaign you did probably 2.5 years ago, because it was new in our friendship that you were like, hey, do you play D&D? Would you want to be in this? Because that's how we started collaborating, was through D&D. And then we started doing, I don't know what next spooky game we did, but it started being spooky games. And so,
Yeah.
how does it feel to know that one of your one-shots has stuck with someone so vividly for 2.5 years now?
That's all you can ever ask for as someone who runs games, is that you give them a start, a middle, and an end, and it's a story that affects them in like they leave the table saying, I did something, or I achieved something, even if it was a completely fictional setting. Nothing actually happened. We sat there and we rolled dice. But whenever you talk about it, you feel like you triumphed.
I was there. I feel like I was there.
Right? You triumphed against something that was challenging, and you overcame it together as a group, which is why I love this game so much. And speaking of that as well, like when I ran Mass Effect for you guys as well, that was right up all of your alleys, and was something brand new for a lot of us as well. But we got to really explore a universe that we loved, and like really show I love playing a variety of systems, all the different worlds you can explore, all the things you can be. And I believe you made an amazing character who was Femshep and Garrus's kid.
Basically, yes, my fan child.
Amazing.
Who ended up
great.
being a sniper because the way I played Femshep. I played Femshep through Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 as sniper, because I love sniping, and Garrus is also a sniper. Yeah, and so I just did major damage from the back lines.
It was a lot of damage.
So good.
It was a nasty sniper rifle that you had. It was really, really fun.
Thank you for that. I'll never get that joy again, but I appreciate it.
Of course, you got to beat up some Cerberus goons, which is always a bit of fun.
I need you to do a long campaign. I don't know if I just need to be like with you, like in that sibling zone that we were talking about characters doing, or if I need you to be the DM again. I need to play with you for a long term, because
I was gonna say, like, I'm such a little control freak. I love being the DM because whenever I'm a player at a table, like I've had a lot of bad D&D experiences as well as a lot of good ones, but because of bad experiences, you want to be a bit more in control. Generally, is the sort of response out of it. And so when I picked up DMing after I had some bad experiences, I've never looked back. I've always loved having the control over things, but the main reason I do it is because that joy that you get from providing an experience for people and allowing them to the best like moments that I ever get is Scarlett said this to me recently, that they said I'm really sad that D&D is over, and that was me being like, I'm also sad it's over, but also you cared about it, about what I did and my effort that I put in. It's like any art form, right? Like you put effort into painting, you put effort into writing, and even as players, you put effort into making your character and having them go through things. It's that feeling of like, I did a good job and I provided a good experience for people. That is why I like DMing.
You talked about before how like you practice your voices and stuff, and you say that you want to be in control, that's why you're the DM, and I think some people can hear that and be like, oh, maybe Ethan's really railroady, or think, no, Ethan is so thinking on his feet. He's got beats maybe, or at the very least he has an end goal, and he will allow us to explore and find our way over, like on our own. And he's like, this is still the main beat, and you guys know that's where it is. I have planted everything that you know this is the main beat, and this is how I think you should go, but you guys go anywhere, and I'm going to just like think on my feet and make it work. And you talk about like practicing the voices and things like that. And I don't want to take any credit away from the voices that you do, because I think that's something you as a DM really enjoy doing. And DMs, you should absolutely put things into your game that you enjoy. You are doing the backbone work, and if And everyone at your table knows this. And if they don't, you better set them straight or send them my way and I will set them straight because you guys are the backbone. I can't DM for shit. Low-key, I don't want to DM. I enjoy being a player. I like my characters. I want to be one character and I want to like understand that character very, very deeply. I will say, and again, as I was saying, I don't want to take away you practicing the voices and stuff. For me, you as a DM, your stories live with me for like literally ever.
Aww, that's so nice of you to say.
Like, just one-shots. I've only been in 2 of your one-shots, and I'm like, I vividly remember so many moments. Things you set up for us between players and characters, between us and you, aka God, and things like that. The rule of cool, and then sometimes being like, no, you cannot fucking do that. You're not that cool, kind of thing.
A lot of those, yeah. A lot of those.
You put so much care and thought into your campaigns that it's not just okay, this is the big baddie, go through or whatever, and I'm going to give you half-assed answers until you talk to the people that I want you to talk to. You put so much love into your campaigns, and it just makes me think, I want to be in more. I want to be at your table. And again, as much as the sibling thing would be really, really cool, I trust you not only as a friend and a person, but as a DM. And you know, and people in the D&D community know, kind of, that's even maybe higher than like trusting your friends is when you trust someone to be a DM.
Honestly, yeah. You are trusting someone with your babies, your original characters, which
your
are
imagination.
Like, which is because whenever you're at a D&D table, you are vulnerable. You are giving out this character that can get into danger that you care about, and that's why I want to put so much effort into everything that I do for D&D and for any tabletop game, is because every player, like yourself, puts in as much effort as you as a DM does. And if both of you meet on those levels, magic happens. Magic happens, and you get those moments that are just gorgeous. I remember the final battle in our Mass Effect one shot that we had to get through, where you fought a big like mech, where I believe you sniped the pilot out of the mech, but the mech kept moving.
Yeah.
And our Chat GPT character, but who made by Aaron, who is a lovely, lovely human, blew it up as that was happening. And we had these like incredible cinematic. Oh no, ChatGPT blew themselves up to then take out the robot.
Yes. Yeah. Because then we said we'd get him a new one, and we tried to grab one and take it to the main ship.
Yeah.
No, what was it? They had taken someone hostage.
Yeah, scientist.
Yeah.
It was a Cerberus scientist that they were trying to extract because there was a lot of bad experiments with the prisoners that were on this large space structure, and you were sent in there as like operatives to like N7 operatives to go in and to extract this scientist, and found a lot of violent aliens that had escaped from their shackles and not wanting to go back, as well as Cerberus agents who were there to contain and keep the prison. Not contain, but like go and get the scientist and get all the data and steal it for themselves.
Because I think it was our Quarian player. Didn't he have an ability of like he was able to hold someone or something?
Yeah, it was that classic lift slam stuff that you can do in the game.
Yes. And then I had to snipe him, the person who wanted to kill the scientist. Like, I felt like he was like holding her or something. Like it was a really tiny shot.
It was an assassin with a sword who had it up to their neck. It was the Cerberus assassin. The feminine ones from the game who told you to stand down, and there was this beautiful moment where they did a kinetic lift and just pulled them up into the air, and as they were floating there, you just popped the head. The male slot achievement popped up.
Woo!
It was great. It was brilliant. What a moment.
God, memory lane.
Yeah, right?
Oh. So when are you gonna do another one? But if you do another one shot, I'm just gonna cry at the end.
See, they're never really one-shots, are they? You always be like, oh, we're going to try it out. We're going to see what sort of happens. And we're just going to do a one-shot. Like, 2 years later, you're like, all right, maybe we should move on to a different campaign. Or like
campaign time, bitches. Get your characters. They're level 1s.
Which is, like, what you want. Because if it goes that well, and then it leans into more, you should lean into it.
Yeah.
Which... I wanted to bring this up at the start of our discussion, so it's a big loop back, but I knew you were a theatre kid, and this might also be why we are siblings, because I was also a theatre kid.
Yes!
Yes. I've done 7 years of acting training. Actually 6 years. 6 years of acting training. I've been in a few music videos, and I've put on a stage production with a group.
Oh, damn.
That was a while back. That was like 6-7 years ago. And tried my luck at that and didn't really find it was my sort of thing eventually. But those skills have still translated into a lot of the things I do. Twitch streaming, D&D playing, just meeting people and not being social awkward in general. So I think you would find the same, right? Like as someone who was up there and was being vulnerable in front of people, that's kind of what you do, but like electronically now, all the time.
Are you talking about like streaming on Twitch and like YouTube and hell, even this?
Exactly, yeah.
Well, that's the thing is, this, my opinion, controversial. Every person streams for different reasons. I find that if you want to be a good streamer, not a successful one, not a, making millions of dollars streamer kind of thing, but if you want to be a good streamer that people are like, I want to keep showing up to your streams, I want to keep watching you, you have two paths to take. One, you're good at the game, and I mean godlike at the game.
Yeah.
You have to, or in Dark Souls, you can be shit at it, but not give up.
Not pointing anyone out in particular.
Yeah, not a bit.
Like,
how many deaths are you on now?
In Dark Souls 3, it's like 12, but we're still really early on. We haven't even touched any DLCs or anything, so I don't want to talk about it.
No, we'll talk about it in the next time. The next time you come onto the podcast. But,
oh yeah, I mean,
yeah, sure.
When?
Hey, we'll loop around like we're doing this conversation. But the other thing too is that you have to be entertaining, and people, I think, again, this is where it's going to get controversial. People give themselves a lot of credit. They think they're entertaining because their friends think they're funny.
Yeah.
People
you're
are like,
so right.
You're funny in our friend group. You're the funny guy. Like, not that they're fake laughing or anything at your jokes. No. You can genuinely be funny, but there's entertaining your friends with inside jokes and things that you guys know, and entertaining a plethora of masses and different people while still being true to yourself and things like that. Reason why some people don't like my stream is I have very, very strict rules. Like, you cannot cuss in my chat, and that upsets people because it's like, oh, we're all adults here, and I'm like, yeah, but I've got people who are neurodivergent and they can't really read cues in chat, and they might say something thinking that they're giving the same cue that might make other people upset, and I just want to keep...
it becomes a fight, and then it becomes a whole thing. Yeah.
But I have to reason that with being entertaining and making people want to watch me. So now how does that connect to theater? Theater, you have to memorize your lines, you have to know where to go, you have to know where your light is, you have to know the timing, while convincing an entire audience you are a completely different person naturally. You have a million... Go ahead.
I was going to say, while there's a big blaring spotlight that makes you sweat the entire time, which is just lighting and streaming as well. God,
the thing that makes me tired the most. But it's streaming is so similar to theater acting. And I think. And I think that's why I enjoy doing it, because being in Japan, I don't have access to theater, and acting is such a big part of my life. I gave up my business degree and a job that my brother currently has that makes really good money because I wasn't happy. And I sat outside the theater building at my college, at my university, when I lived on campus, and I cried because I felt so stupid. I wasn't understanding things. I was unhappy. And I was in, like, the depths of despair, for lack of a better term, kind of thing. And I would sit outside the theater building. And when that year ended, I told my parents, like, I can't continue a business degree because I don't know where my health is going to be. And at that time, that was really, mental health wasn't really taken as seriously in society as we do now. As I think, like, millennials and younger Gen X's have kind of, like, pushed it. And then Gen Z and Alphas really, like, this mental health is important in big capital letters.
Oh, yeah.
So theater is such a big part of me that sometimes I wonder if I would be here as I am if I hadn't made that change in university. And same thing when I've had really bad days at my day job. I'm not crazy about it. I'm going to be honest with you. I come home and I'm just like, I'm going to stream. I'm going to start a podcast because it's easy to turn on my computer, grab a friend, and record something. I'm going to edit. I hate editing, but I would rather be creative and see myself having fun on screen than anything else. Like, that's my wind down for the day. And I bet you feel the same. Theater kid to theater kid. Like, there's just
that. Yeah, that is the problem with creatives types, is that you are hungry for this expression, this feeling of, like, making something all the time. And when you don't get that in your day-to-day life, I don't get that now, especially with my previous jobs as well. Like, I've been in hospitality for like 9 years, and the most creativity I had was how I designed someone's latte, so like, yeah, so I had the exact same thing. As you said, I worked in a cinema for 2.5 years, where I ended up not having any friends, having a lot of people that really didn't like me, and working as, like, someone who was meant to be in charge of other people who didn't like me at all, and feeling like my life was going nowhere. I had the depths of depression in that moment. Like, I've never been lower. And that's when I just decided to make a change. And what I did was I handed in my resume, and my boss sat me down and was like, "Why are you quitting?" And I said, "I'm going to try streaming. I'm going to give it a go as a thing." Now, I gave it a go for, I gave it a red hot go for a couple of months. And this loops back into, like, how you said, like, you can be the funny kid and the person who entertains your friends, who I felt like I was in high school. But you're so right. Those first 3 months taught me so much about, like, not only the creative spaces, but also how I view myself as a person, and, like, how I can fit into these spaces. And I think the main thing that I aspire for, and that I respect you whenever you stream, is your honesty whenever you stream. Like, there is obviously, like, you're putting, you exaggerate, you put on a person, a character a little bit, but there's always, like, it's still you. Like, you are still being honest to yourself and having some fun while doing it. And I think that's such an important part of doing this, even if it makes the journey slower, even if it, doesn't, you're not playing the most popular game, you're not exploding overnight. Like, you are building meaningful relationships, not only with the content you create, but the people you talk with. And I think it's more important at the heart of it to be that way than to have any, like, I don't want to say like not to, like to have any success, because like obviously success is great, but like maybe I guess to like fast track it, I guess I would say.
Well, it goes back to like us looking at the numbers and things like that. If you are only looking at success through a lens of, I need to always be getting another follower every day. I need to be hitting monthly goals of 100 plus subscribers and $100. I used to do that. I used to be like, I haven't succeeded if I don't make $100 on Twitch, which is very, very stupid because finances for everyone are in the toilet right now. Like,
oh yes,
like, and that was so selfish of me. And that's how you get like burnout.
Absolutely.
I'm so honored that you appreciate my honesty, and like I tell people all the time, Reaper is an exaggeration of me, but it's the truest exaggeration. I came out on the internet as bisexual and they them before like anybody in my IRL life knows. Like nobody. More people on the internet know like my sexual orientation and who I am truly than like people back in my hometown. But like, am I always loud and obnoxious? Shut up. No, I'm not. Ethan, before you say something.
Well, maybe when we play Outlast Trials with the girlies, maybe a little
that's
bit.
just me running around. But even that's the character. But like the romances and stuff, I will say I fangirl for Garrus Vakarian 24/7. You bring up Garrus Vakarian and there's like a switch in my head that's like the rat starts running in the wheel like 20 times faster kind of thing.
Yep.
But I do, because I think if I was playing a character or if I was going for the what people think success is in content creation, I wouldn't have fun with it anymore. I would feel like, oh, if I'm not hitting those highs, I'm failing. And that's something I hit recently of I was pushing myself to do a lot of editing videos. And I was like, I need to edit this and I need to get it out. I need to make sure Patreon's got a video every week. I need this, this, and this. And I started coming home and being like, I don't want to do anything. Even creating, I didn't want to do. And I was like, no, I can't have this happen. Not the one thing that makes me truly feel like me. I refuse to let it die. So what I did instead was I sent out a message. I was like, hey guys, I'm going to take steps back. I'm going to keep trying to stream on Friday and Saturdays because like that's when I'm usually free. But if I want to cancel a stream, I'm going to cancel a stream and I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to meet with my friends. I'm going to do things. If I feel like streaming on a random Tuesday for 30 minutes, I'm going to stream. If I make 3 edited videos in 1 week and then you don't see an edited video until 2025, that's just what it is. I'm going to make content as I want to make it because I started hitting that where I was getting tired of creating. And I was like, that's such a core part of myself that if I lose that, I really don't know who I am. Not just Reaper, but Jordan. And then I was like, that scared me more than anything in my life.
It's a very scary moment when that happens. I think there's still like we get tiny snippets, I think, of that all the time. You know, last week I was like, I didn't put a TikTok video up this week. You know, time to hang it all up, you know, like time to just let it all go. You know, you have those moments where you get down and out about it. I had this discussion in the office with one of my friends who also streams. They were saying like it's really nice to get back into it because they hadn't done it in ages, and I was trying to inspire them to get back into it because it's really fun. And they were talking about follower count, and I was like, I don't want to talk about that, and you shouldn't talk about that. And they're like, yeah, but it's like it feels bad when it goes down, and I'm like, turn the number off because I lose followers every week. You know, like it just happens. People just either clean up their follower count, they're bots that get deleted, like, or they just don't want to follow, and that's so fine as well. Like, it's you have to be constantly aware to not let those numbers rule you, because that is
the death of creativity. That is the death of creativity.
that becomes capitalism, baby, and that's the last thing we want.
Oh. Well, the best thing I ever did for my mental health was turning off the live viewer in Twitch Studio. Turning that off. I don't know who's there because I watched 3 of my VODs like back in I think I turned that off like a year ago, honestly. But I watched 3 VODs, and you could tell the moment I realized I went from like 10 people. I don't have a lot of people that watch me. That's fine. I love my community. But like you could tell when it went from 10 people and dropped to 2. Like you could see it on my face. You could feel you could feel it from my energy, and I was like, how dare I do that to the 2 people who are still here? That was rude as fuck of me.
You feel it like you're exactly right. It's like because you're watching that number change as you do things, and you're instantly reacting to them, which is not what you should do. Really, you should just be keeping the energy level that you're at that day, and doing what you feel is right there. Because if you say like, you start thinking like, I've been quiet for like 5 seconds, and you see one person disappear, it's boom, I'm not entertaining, I am not doing this. The thoughts that we talk about, they creep in, and then that's also going to inversely affect your stream, and then it's going to become less of a welcoming place, and it just feeds into itself. It's just not worth having.
It's a negative spiral. It just goes down and down and down. For anybody who wants to get into streaming, again, I think I've got I'll be totally transparent, I have about 11 to 12 average viewers every stream, so I'm by no means big, but I have passed that tough threshold of 5. I think 5 average viewers is a very hard threshold to go over. Once you go over that, you're like, you're pretty there. You're pretty like, you'll always have about 5 because you've managed to like make a core group of people.
Yeah.
And so we're coming from a place that we have communities. Again, I've been streaming for about 4 years. Ethan's been streaming for about 3 years. Like, and again, I only have 11 to 12 average viewers. Like, there's so much luck that goes into streaming.
So much.
It's like 95% luck, honestly.
Yeah.
But if you want to start streaming, my advice, and Ethan, you can negate this and give your own opinion, I would not go with just chatting. I see a lot of new streamers go with just chatting or doing like, I don't like streams
like popular
that
games and stuff, or
yeah. Well, my thing is that if you don't have a community yet, you need to be having something going on stream.
Yes.
You need to be doing something, okay? If you make music, that's fine because people can listen to something. You can also be telling what you're doing. A big killer for me when I'm trying to find new people to watch is they're silent. Even with 5 viewers, they're silent. And it's like, well, chat's dead. And it's like, yeah, but tell me what's going on in the game. I was doing a live stream on TikTok live through their little thing. I wasn't through OBS. I was doing it through their studio or whatever. I didn't have anyone for the first 30 minutes, and it really started messing with me because I hadn't had that in 4 years. Like, I always have someone, at least a mod is in my chat talking to me. And so I was like, oh my god, I don't know what to do. Maybe I'll just end stream. And I was like, nah, I'm just going to tell people about Don't Starve, because I was playing Don't Starve. And I was like, so, in this game, which I have thousands of hours in my old games, in my old computer, before I had Steam and stuff, you're going to do this. And then what you're going to do is you're going to move over here. So my plan is I'm going to do this. And I am literally saying exactly what I'm doing, what I'm going to do, and what the end plan is. So that way I have some sound going on. You can take breaks. You don't need to be blabbermouthing the entire time. You can take a break and breathe. But you want people to come in to hear your voice and for them to ask, like, oh, what game is this? Because literally someone came in and was like, what game is this? And I was like, oh, welcome. This is Don't Starve. It's a survival game. I've been doing this. My goal is to get to here. We just basically don't want to starve and we want to survive. How are you? And like, pull people into that. So I feel like, personally, games, for me, are probably the easiest way to get into streaming. Because even if you don't like talking, if you do an RPG or a story-based game, the game does talking for you.
That's so true.
What do you think, for anyone that wanted to get into streaming, what would be some like tips, kind of like concrete things that you think they could do to like get over that first 3 to 5 average viewer threshold?
I would do something that you are passionate about, because if you are passionate about it, you will not shut up about it.
Fucking men.
One of my first games I ever played on stream was Resident Evil 7. The first person that come back to Resident Evil, sort of the one before Village. And I love Resident Evil and like horror games. And I played it on a shitty computer. I had a not great setup. I didn't have any lighting, but I met some people that I'm now still friends with, and like play tabletop games through that experience of me just talking about like how I'm like, man, I played the previous Resident Evil games. I didn't think they were that good, and like this is how I feel about this new one. I love that it's a new return to form. I haven't. I love this game. I played it once before by myself. I haven't played it for a while, so I'm not really sure what's going on. And it was something I was passionate about. I choose games that I'm passionate about to put on stream, or games that I think will be entertaining to talk about or to experience. Immediately after that, I did Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, which is a amazing game that basically has you experience what it's like. I don't know the exact medical term for it, but it's like very close to schizophrenia, where you play as a character from like you play Senua, who is I believe a Celtic warrior, probably be corrected on this, who she is trying to go to the Celtic gods, the goddess Hel, or Hela, who is the guardian of death, and get back her partner's soul, because she believes that she can do this. And she is experiencing this schizophrenia as she goes through the game. There are whispers, there are voices around you at all times. It plays that 360-degree sound where you hear things behind you and things. It's incredible. And while you're fighting enemies, the voices will help and hinder you. Some of them will say dodge, some of them will say watch out, some of them will say he's getting ready to kill you, things like that make it like, I think that experience of that game is something I'm really passionate about, and I wanted to show it and be like, hey, this is a game you should play, and at any point you think you should play it, stop watching me and go play it.
Yes.
Because I did studies in games design, and I'm very, very passionate about the creation of games and how they make us feel as stories, and how they can sort of tell different ways of storytelling other than other mediums we're used to, like that extra fourth layer that you don't get from movies, and that extra like visual that you don't get from books. Granted, those also do things better than games do, of course, but there are games like Hellblade where how can you experience what it's like to have those voices in your head, to have that sort of experience anywhere else, right? Like it's unique and it's interesting. And another game that made me cry because it's an emotional journey for Senua as well. She fights her illness as she goes through to try and save her partner and to accept what has happened as she goes through this story and fights gods or maybe just gods in her mind that eventually take her to this point. I think those experiences, and those games, and those things that you're passionate about is like, you see how easy it was for me to literally just tell you the whole story of that game and be like, I love this because I'm so passionate about it, and to just keep yapping about it. I think that is what you should choose.
But the thing was, is I was enraptured the whole time. I was like, man, I don't know if I'd be able to play it because it could really like mess with me. But I'm like, man, if Ethan plays this game again, I want to watch. Because go on.
I was just going to say, you're invested because I'm invested. It's that honesty, that I'm being honest with you, that I love this thing and I genuinely want to share it. And people will feel that. You know, if you draw and you love drawing, you can easily figure out, I know there's some applications where you can get your iPad or like whatever you're using, or like a camera facing down onto a piece of paper, or like any sort of art form, or, you know, you're like playing card games or like collecting things or opening things, like anything that you're passionate about, that you care about, that you can talk about, and that you genuinely, I think, truly care about, that honesty will naturally draw people towards you, because frankly it's refreshing, first of all. I think there's a lot of dishonest people in the creation space, whether it works for them or not. More power to them if it works.
Right.
But that's not how I can do it, and I can sense it when I've tried to watch some people in the past. There's a disconnect between yourself and them. It doesn't quite touch you in the same way. You know, you might watch someone who's really good at a game and be like into that because you're like, great, they're really great, it's really impressive to watch. But I think
then, when they finish that game, do you want to watch them anymore?
Indeed. What's next after that, right? Like, at the end of the day, is my belief that you're there for them, for that person, no matter what they do. Which is, you know, some people play the same game forever, and that's fine. That's totally okay, because some games last forever, and people just follow that because they like the game. Nothing wrong with that, but I think there's something more special about being honest and passionate about the things that you love, and that will inherently draw people towards you who want to share what they love as well. And you create a dialogue, you create a community around that, and you want to start laughing together and hanging out with each other more, and all of a sudden you've got regular people coming to watch you, who want to watch you, who want to ask you how your week's been, and you want to ask how their week's been as well. And I think starting at where and thinking about what you are passionate about is an excellent place to start.
If you were to have one goal, in my opinion, if you were to have one goal as a beginning content creator, it is to get people to enjoy you.
Yes.
Not the game necessarily that you're playing, but to let them get to know who you are as a gamer. You don't have to be completely honest. Don't dox yourself. Don't, you know,
Please
don't dox yourself. But you also don't need to tell like your whole life story if you don't feel comfortable doing that. Again, I don't. I'm quite honest with a lot of things. And then some things I'm like, y'all will never fucking know. That is for me and my closest friends and the thoughts in my head kind of thing. But you want people to care about you. And you want them to come back to content because you created it. Because they want to be there for you. And also, I want to say, you can stop a game. If you're playing something or doing something and you're halfway through and you're like, man, I no longer like this game. I'm not having fun doing it. I'm not interested anymore. You can stop. This coming from someone who is so excited about Baldur's Gate 3. I've gotten to the very, very beginning of Act 3 and I was like, I'm going to take a very, very, very long break from it. Meanwhile, I have other streamer friends who were on their like 6th honor mode run.
Yeah, madness.
And I'm like,
I don't know
nah,
how
I'm
they
good.
do it. I don't know how they do it. And you're so right, because I've dropped so many games before. There was like some story-based games that either because I didn't enjoy the game design or I just felt it didn't vibe with how I usually play, or like it's not something that's working for me. I often struggle personally with story, like really story-heavy games. Like, I'm trying to think of the example. It's like Detroit Become Human.
Yeah, which I
Things
actually
like
want to
that.
play.
Which is a great, interesting point as well. Like, that might fit really well with your style because you love these sort of stories and how you can talk about them. For me, I like to dissect, I guess, more like mechanics and things as I go through rather than like, or like certain stories that I'm passionate about. I would definitely not be passionate about the Detroit story personally. But we went through Dark Souls 2 recently, and I could not shut up about the story that was so deeply hidden in the game and explaining to people what was happening in the story as we were going through. Because people are like, I'm not understanding what's happening. I'm like, here, let me divulge, and here's some videos that I've watched. Different styles for different people.
I would love you to send me those videos because I want to know why people are so into Dark Souls. Because I'm like, yeah, the games are beautiful, but I'm like, what's the point?
Yeah.
And we don't really have time for you to give me that right now. But if you do want to send me videos or message me, I would love to hear this, or I'll jump in a stream and I will ask you because I want to know people's obsession with this game. Because there's no way that people are playing these games simply because it's hard mode and I want to play no offense, I want to play a guy's game is what I feel a lot of the time when I see.
I went to a video game, I studied games at university. Believe me, I've been with those people. The people who are like,
so you know
Dark Souls
exactly
is
who
peak,
I'm talking
is peak
about.
game design and everything else is inferior. And I'm like, yeah, but like, there's bad things about the game too. And they're like, no, it's perfection in gaming, and we're always going to talk about it in our lectures.
I only get 3 chances. I get 3 chances, then I'm dead. And it's like, doesn't matter what I've got. Like, I'm just going to die because I didn't dodge correctly. It's like, God mighty. So I don't want to pass off a game simply because, one, it's not my type of game, right? But like, you were saying like Detroit Becoming Human. You're like, I can't really get into that story because it kind of tells itself. Where we did an otome, and in hindsight, in the very, very end, I played the entire thing in one night because me and chat got so annoyed with how these characters were acting. And it was voice acted, thankfully, so I just got to sit back and like listen to all this shit happening. But we were analyzing these 2 characters. They are toxic as fuck for each other. And we were analyzing the relationships, and we were like, that's a good point, but then you said this and then ruined the entire point. Like, we were so in the trenches. And we think it's like a gag game because at the end they had a quote-unquote kiss scene, and like the voice actors were like giggling and laughing after that. We're like, that should have been cut. This was completely a gag game because I know I've played other games by this dev, and they are fantastic in my opinion. But this one was just so off the mark. But that's the thing. Even with those, like, no offense, it was not a good story. There were just not good points. Usually, there's like good and bad moments in otomes, like a learning thing with romance and love and relationships. Like, I like that about otomes and dating sims. You're like, this is toxic. You better realize this is toxic, but you go for your little yandere romance. No one's gonna stop you. Just realize it's toxic. This one was so toxic that none of us could stop playing. Which, good for them. We couldn't stop until we got to the end.
Even like the best artists miss as well. It doesn't mean that they're bad at anything like that. It just means this one didn't particularly hit the mark on that one. And it's so interesting you say that because passion can also not just come from happiness, but from frustration, right? Like, if you're like, what is happening here? Guys, are you seeing what's happening here? I can't believe that it went this way. I thought it was going to go that way. That can be just as important. When I played Thank Goodness You're Here, that is a British comedy game where everything is lewd and like and like silly and ridiculous. And half the time it was me open gaping mouth, just I can't believe what I just witnessed, just being completely quiet at like what I saw there. And that can be just as good.
That can be just as entertaining.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm very lucky because in the first episode we had Gracie on cosplay and we were talking about like first time cosplayers and getting into the space and just trying things. And now I've had you on as like a D&D, a DM, player, and a fellow streamer, content creator, that we've gone through these ups and downs of things like you're going to make mistakes and all we can do is kind of give you advice on how to be true to yourself. I feel is what I, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that's what we are really going for, because that's the only way you're going to make this last. If you're coming into streaming for money, if you find it, please tell us. I'm sure we would love to know.
Oh God, yes. Like, where is it, please? Like, what is the formula? Please tell me. You're 100% right. There has to be an aspect of you when going into any creative work, because you need to be able to look back on it and say, I'm proud of myself, not I'm proud of whatever that is, you know?
And being proud of yourself by looking back on your stuff isn't, man, that was the best thing I've ever made. It was, that is the best thing I made at that time, and now I see the growth. Because I look back at Baby Reaper, and I'll get emotional, because I'm so proud of Baby Reaper. And I know she would be so proud of Reaper today. And that's what you want. You want
Absolutely.
to be... I'll get emotional like I'm talking about like another person. It's just me in the past.
I mean, it feels like a different person, right?
It
like
does.
The first time I ever sort of started getting into content creation was I edited YouTube videos of recordings of my friends playing games together. And I sent them to all of us, and we watched back our favorite clips and bits. And, like, that was so rewarding to have people laugh and enjoy memories of things like that. So, like, every small victory like that, where I go back and watch these videos of when I first started. My first ever video was me playing golf with friends, where I was high as a kite on painkillers because I was sick. I was so sick during that time, and it was lockdown in Australia. And we just played this golf game one day with me and two other friends, and it was me performing really badly and getting very upset over it. And it was really fun to experience and to enjoy with our friends and to look back on. And you know, and that's the fun thing about content creation in that way as well. You have that forever. You have that memory of that. This is where I started. This is where I came from. This is the fun times I've had. And here's where I am now. And to be proud of those steps you've taken and to see the growth.
You should absolutely be making memories for yourself too as you're making content. It's not just making memories so that you can post it onto socials and grow bigger or be like, hey, grow my audience because like it's a memory for you guys. You should also be making memories for yourself. I remember crying in Mass Effect. I probably teared up at other points, but the first time I think I've ever deeply sobbed for a game was when, spoiler alert, Thane Krios died.
Yeah.
And the line, as FemShep, FemShep asks, Koliot, why did the last line say she? And he was like, he's already prayed for himself. This one was for you. And I bawled. And that is the greatest, like, one of the greatest memories I've ever had because, again, we're looping back to the beginning of games affecting us. And it was just, I forgot I was streaming. I was so invested in this game because I was passionate about it and I love Mass Effect. And I just lost myself into my emotions. And people can look back at themselves crying and be like, oh my God, that was so cringe. And I show people that video. I'm like, did you guys know that I cried really, really hard when Thane died? Here, watch it. Like, I have so much pride in that.
Yeah, and you know, the classic saying that I'll always say is be cringe and be free. You know, like
you do, shrimp man, you do.
Like, look, listen here, you.
I went an hour and 50 minutes without saying shrimp. Okay,
you did. I'm actually so proud of you. You did really well.
Welcome.
The restraint that you've shown. Oh, growth. This is growth. This is what we've been talking about. This is growth.
It's gonna go away soon. I hope you know.
Yeah, I mean, like a character that father, deadly like best assassin in the galaxy, basically, who has that connection to you. You can't get that experience anywhere else, and it's like it's special, you know, because you feel like that was your moment as well. That's the fun thing about games that I love, is that fourth wall is weak. It feels like you're there and you're experiencing this, and that can affect you that way. I had the same feelings about Mass Effect 2 ending, you know, all those Bioware games that we go back on, you know. It was incredible. And I think we're getting better and better stories as time is going on, and more interesting new stories as well through gaming. And I'm really excited to see where it goes now, because this year's been wild for it as well.
And again, as some games we were talking about, Baldur's Gate 3 really has set a new bar for like types of games that you and I like. And yeah, I'm excited for where gaming is going to go. We've had some issues with all the AI stuff and the art and the things like that. But I think through that, these independent games, these developers have really just said, you know what? Screw it. If you guys are willing to support us on Kickstarter and wait 3 years, we will give you a game that is fully made by us, who are passionate about it, who have thought about this game and only this game, day, night, dinner, bath time, all that stuff. And I think that's beautiful.
I agree. And I think there's a gold mine in indie games. There's a gold mine in indie games that you can really give someone such a unique experience that they could never get with a mainstream game. I'm going to ask it, have you played Outer Wilds?
No. I don't know if it came from you or if it came from my TikTok algorithm or something, but something literally came up with the Outer Wilds, and someone was like, this game changed me. I'm making a note. I've got to play it. I think I might have it.
That's both, because I've been liking all the videos recently and reposting them. Because speaking of another game that I think is genuinely beautiful, I played that on stream, and it changed my outlook on life. I think everyone should play that game. I highly recommend it. It is very explory, and it's very like doesn't hold your hand. But even if you just play it by yourself and not on stream, it is definitely worth playing. I highly recommend it.
It must have been you then. I'll give it a look, because I was really when people say games change them, I remember Mass Effect, and I'm like, you know what? I'm in. I'm willing to give every game a chance, honestly.
Yeah, Mass Effect changed us all, I think, for like the better. Like, some of us now want to like be that sort of character, that sort of hero that does all these things, or be a better person in a lot of different ways. And some of us want to get jiggy with sexy aliens. Like, it changes us all.
And some of our Etsy stores algorithm got really changed for literally no reason. I didn't Google it. Etsy, chill the F out, okay?
Someone is listening somewhere.
They really are. They saw my content and they were like, you know what they need on their Etsy page? Something I'm not going to say on stream or on podcast. But anyway, we could literally talk about games that we love and streaming and why we do what we do forever. But I know it's getting quite late for both of us, unfortunately. Listeners, if you guys would like to have Ethan back for another episode, I'm probably going to get him back for another episode, but it would be cool if you told us in like comments and stuff that you would like Ethan to be on another episode. You know, help him out. The confidence meter kind of, is it dwindling? It's dwindling, right? Tell him it's dwindling. Be like one of those.
It's definitely dwindling.
Be like one of those sad puppies in the
what,
arms.
What I'd especially love is if, like, not for me, but if you want to hear like Reaper talk about specific things, because I know this because we've hung out quite a lot and collabed and done things off stream as well. Reaper has a lot to say about a lot of things, and I think it would be really fun for people to ask you some questions and get you to chat about some things that you're passionate about, because you are multi-talented and there's a lot there.
Honestly, if people want to put topics in the comments, if you think there's someone I should have this conversation with, as long as y'all aren't weird about it, like, oh, we're gonna put two oppositions next to each other, because me and my friends will look at these topics and be like, fuck that. Our friendship is way stronger than this shit. We know where we stand on a lot of things. But if there is a topic you'd like me to talk about, if there's someone you want me to talk about it with, put it in those comments. And stop it. This was a moment for you, because I want people to go watch your stuff, because I find you, if not entertaining, very relaxing to listen to. And like in the background and stuff. I'm always lurking in your streams. I love just listening to you, because you do an excellent job of telling me what's going on the screen without me having to watch. So you are literally the example of what I was talking about later. So with that being said, sell yourself. Where can they find you? What are you working on lately? Continue.
So yeah, like we said earlier, like I'm ArchVillainEthan on everything, but mainly on Twitch at the moment. Like I stream 12 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time to about, I get lost in the sauce and I go to like about 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, so it's like late for Americans when I start. We do a bit of everything, currently working through the whole Dark Souls series on Dark Souls 3 at the moment, and then after that we're going to be playing, God knows, I play whatever I feel. I've got a big list of games. Actually, the spooky season's coming up as of current recording, so there's a lot of horror that's going to be put onto the stream, which is really exciting. Other than that, I have some tabletop stuff in the works that we might be having some discussions later about as well. And other than that, you can see us collabing together in the future as well. So if you already follow Reaper's channel, I mean, I'll probably be there at some point, playing some silly game with some silly people, having a lot of silly fun together.
Yeah, I don't know when I'm going to start posting these. I was thinking November, but I've actually gotten, like, I messaged people to come on and, like, do this with me, and people are immediately like, yeah, I'm in. I messaged Ethan, like, you want to be on a podcast? He's like, yes, I want to be part of the Reaperverse. I give him full credit for naming all my content under the umbrella Reaperverse. But if this keeps going, I might actually drop the first episode in October for Patreon. So this will be the second episode, but I'm sure we'll probably still do some spooky stuff in November, maybe. And then we do a lot of, like, holiday stuff and whatnot. So there's always, like, a season where we collab and then a season where we do our own thing and then we come back.
And it's great. We do it so seamlessly, so fluid. It's fantastic. So, I mean, if you want more of Reaper's voice, you should like, comment, subscribe. You should smash that bell. Is what we should be.
He's so good at this. I totally forgot to tell you guys to smash that bell. God, it makes it sound like Markiplier and like Jacksepticeye and all that.
They're not gonna ring it. They're not gonna tap it. You gotta smash that bell.
Do I need to go the top of the morning to you?
That was pretty good, actually. maybe next podcast intro. I don't know.
Oh, yo, Jacksepticeye, hello, impersonator, right here. Let's go.
Join us next time for when Jacksepticeye.
Maybe one day that would be cool. I would love to get. I love chilling with my friends. That's what this podcast is all about, is me talking about nerdy stuff with my friends. Maybe one day, maybe that'll be something cool. But if you are here listening to this, then you are either one of my lovely Patreon members, and for that, thank you so, so much. And if you want to be a Patreon member, check out the link down below in the description box. They get all this stuff in advance, along with a lot of other things, including cosplays, edited videos, unseen VODs by the public, yada, yada, yada. And if you're here on YouTube or wherever I've decided to post these things, then you are in the right place. And if you would like to see me play games live, either by myself or with my friends, all that information is going to be in the description box below as well. Usually twitch.tv/ReaperBabe7. But Ethan, thank you again for joining me. I'm going to have you back on because we need to, like, talk about a plethora of things more.
Where did the time go? I think we blinked and it's been 2 hours.
We just start talking about things we love and then listening to the other person. So,
and somehow we kept such a cohesive narrative that looped back in on itself constantly. Oh, look at us go!
I feel like I cut you off on a few tangents, and I apologize for that. But
I
you're
love
right.
tangents.
Yeah, we went back full circle. So,
look at us go.
Look at us. Who would have thought?
No, thank you for having me. It's been absolutely lovely just to actually get a opportunity to just sit down and chat about other things and not just play video games together. It was really nice.
Yeah, I'm glad my friends are enjoying this because this is exactly what I wanted it to be. So I appreciate that. I appreciate you just being you.
Of course. And I appreciate you and our friendship, Reba. Always.
Aww.
Aww.
No, get away. You're being gross. Stop it. Stop it. Stop. And with that, I hope you have a great day, night, wherever you are in the world. And I will see you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.